And then I might have to go grab another one. You're trying to be helpful.
Yeah.
And you know people, you have everything.
Yep.
Morning, morning. He recognizes you're too young. Good morning. Good. I don't ever do it.
Ready?
Yeah. I'm getting all the way up on me. I get you up. Good morning. It's America this year. Look at that.
Good morning. Well, yes. Olivia and I got the free. I'm sorry. I didn't even think anything about it.
Obviously, talk to them.
I'm sorry. I'm pretty glad. Didn't know what she was doing. Next.
Testing 1 2, testing 1 2.
How's the first? You know, one of the best things about this girl right here, she's very coachable. Listens to what you say, takes it in. I like that.
Good morning. This will be your first call for your Class 1 Durocs. In this class, we have 4 exhibitors: Ainsley Burns, Callan Longhenny, Taylor Miller, and Eric Sapien. You can start bringing your animals towards the ring. Good, you all right? They don't go in that other room over there. That's it. I know.
And the JV girls one, I mean, most of the JVs one.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are y'all this morning?
Oh, good. How are you, buddy?
Doing well. Good to see y'all.
Coming home and busy.
Yes, I enjoy it.
How about y'all?
How are you? I know you got your info, that's okay, you doing? Just good to see you.
Have you talked to Alice? I told her to get it on.
I don't think we got too many.
She's at her home to say, I don't think I've talked to her yet.
She's not there yet.
No,
But
she's studying.
I'll give you my number, get it from Dad, and I'll pass it to her.
You need to give her
We'll try to set up a tour and whatever y'all need.
She's,
You want her to win?
We'll get
she's
you
a girl wife. She's like it in Arkansas.
Okay. Well, we get toured, set up visits.
I don't worry about it.
All righty. Just let me know what I need to do.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for being here.
Macho, did you sing the national anthem?
You ready?
Yes, sir.
Part of my deal
Again, we'll start our talk show this morning with our first class of Durocs. In this first class, we have 4 exhibitors. Ainsley Burns will be exhibiting a Duroc weighing 185 pounds. Callan Longhenny with a Duroc hog weighing 192 pounds. Taylor Miller with an animal weighing 200 pounds. And Eric Sapien an animal also weighing 200 pounds. This morning, before we get started here, we'd like to say something about the fact that this is, I believe, the 99th Mason County Junior Livestock Show. So next year, maybe we'll make it to 100 years. We hope all our exhibitors are still around, but 99 years, it's come a long way since it used to show down on the square. This morning, our hall judge is Katie Kemping. Katie is a graduate student at Texas A&M University. She is also the assistant livestock judging team coach. Katie is a major in animal science with a minor in nutrition. We want to welcome Katie here with us today. Let's give her a hand. Appreciate it. Here you go.
Sir.
Okay, Mike, that's enough. As the exhibitors are bringing their animals up, let me go over a couple of things right quickly here. Our swine superintendent this year is Walt Brawls. We also have our concession stand open. Be sure and go visit our concession stand over here and see if you need some good hot coffee for this morning. We're going to talk just a little bit about our donors here. Our grand champion market swine buckle is donated by Hill Country Veterinary Hospital, Drs. Dave and Andy Rosberg. The grand champion market swine banner is donated by Longhorn Storage, Colin and David Evans and Lisa and Jim Roy Atchison. The reserve grand champion market swine buckle is donated by Jody and Sandy Osborne, and the reserve grand champion market swine banner is donated by Ryan and Kaylin Jordan.
Well, I'm awfully excited to be here today and sorting through your hogs and later on your cattle show. I think it's a real honor and privilege, and you know, no other way that I'd rather spend this whole day than sorting through stock. And so, thanks for having me. The young man that I'm going to elect to lead off with in this first class, I think, has a really nice barrow. One that is so tall-bladed, extended ahead of it, transitions back, still plenty bold in terms of his rib cage. I think the set utilization to his rear leg is probably the most attractive and then still useful. You know, I'm not saying he's maybe the most overwhelming just yet in terms of his center body or rib cage. It probably goes to the young lady's bear that's going to be in second. But I just think in terms of quality, build, and look from the side, that one's bar none my favorite. Now, a young lady's bear that comes second, I think that guy is pretty overwhelming in terms of his rib shape. If you actually study the turn to the upper portions of his rib cage, it set a real nice foundation for him to feel a lot of shape up high. I think one that's pretty attractive and still up-headed and extended ahead of his blade. One that in terms of his rear leg, I'd like to adjust just a nickel. Kind of wants to pull his hock in, maybe stouten him up just a touch at the surface, but one that's loaded with true power there. Young lady's got a really stout-skulled, stout-featured one to come next, and I like those things about him. He's really big in terms of his upper hip. You know, you study that guy just in terms of his actual turn to his sternum and his rib cage. I'd like to see him just opened up a nickel more. And if you just study him, he kind of wants to get rounder in terms of his hip. Maybe just doesn't want to show himself off quite as nicely as a couple others out here. Young man's bear that's going to come in fourth, I think one that's real loose skeleton, plenty flexible in how he goes. One that just needs to be bulked up today. If you study him comparatively, just coming and going, you'd like to give him a notch more rib power and dimension to compete, but one that I still think has the right kind of fundamentals. Let's give all these kiddos a round of applause. They're doing a real nice job.
Placings in our first class of Durocs. Fourth place is awarded to Eric Safian. Seventh place, Taylor Miller. Second place, Ainsley Burns. Class winner, Callan Longian.
Pretty good in the back.
All right, we're ready for our second class, market swine. We have 5 exhibitors in this class: Nathaniel Lanning, Haley Holbrook, Callan Longian, Bronwyn Underwood, and Cooper Mitchell. Our second class of deer oxen in the ring now. Our exhibitors, Nathaniel Lanning showing a deer ox weighing 226 pounds. Haley Holbrook with an animal weighing 228 pounds. Callan Longheny with a deer ox weighing 230 pounds. Bronwyn Underwood with a 237-pound deer ox. And Cooper Mitchell with an animal weighing 238 pounds.
Again, I think another really good class, and particularly a really good individual that's going to go ahead and win. And again, I think maybe he's a nickel green in terms of his body shape still, but study that guy in terms of his basic build, that kind of elevation, that kind of skull. We have one. Sorry.
That's all right, Katie. They're just a little slow getting here. We'll be all right.
Maybe I'm just fast. Sorry, I've had 4 cups of coffee this morning, so I'm a little fast. So I apologize. I get a little carried away and ahead of myself, but I still think a really nice class, and we probably just added, some quality even with the individuals that came in. But the young man's bear that's going to go ahead and win, I still think is really, really good. If you study that guy's elevation, I appreciate it because it comes with a laid-back blade and knee. He's busted open in terms of his chest. He's got a really neat and flexible hip and hind leg that particularly for a red hog I think is very unique. That one's build, look, extension just all screams quality. Again, maybe not just the most overwhelming in terms of his rib shape today, but that one's got the right pieces, I think, to be awfully, awfully good down the road. Young lady's gilt that's going to go ahead and be second. I think that one's really easy to read. Huge in terms of her rib shape, really big in terms of her pin set, busted open still whenever she comes at you. One that you just kind of study from the side and maybe start to show her age, maybe a nickel, just in terms of needs to be cleaned up at the top side of her neck there. Maybe just needs to become a bit stouter in terms of her foot size and better in your utilization of her hip and hind leg. But one that I think is just massive body, really powerful, still comes in a really still attractive package out here. A young man that's going to go ahead and be third. I think one that's big hips, loose skeleton, big featured. I like those things about him. Maybe not as neat looking as a couple others. Like to fix him in terms of his hip ever so slightly. Just like to fix her in just how her head carriage and how it comes out of the top side of her blade. But I think one that's got the foot size, got the muscularity that I'm kind of looking for. Young ladies, and I think the next two coming out are pretty close. Young lady that comes out next, I like that gal's fresh shape up high, like her extra shot of pin width and power, and I actually think today she's just moving with a little more flexibility in terms of her rear leg relative to the barrow that's going to be fourth or fifth. Young man's a barrow, I think one that's tall scaled, extended, and pretty level. I think for me, you truly study that one coming and going, needs to be busted open underneath, come with more flexibility in how he utilizes his rear leg, but one that I think comes with some extension, one that I still think is long scaled and still neat looking from the side. Let's give all those individuals a round of applause. I thought the young man's that wins off of this.
Thank you, Judge Kimping. Placings in our second class with Duroc Market Swine. Fifth place is awarded to Nathaniel Lanning. Fourth place exhibited by Haley Holbrook. Third place animal exhibited by Cooper Mitchell. Bronwyn Underwood exhibited the second place Duroc, and first place class winner exhibited by Callan Longhenny.
Man, you're doing a hard job.
In our third and final class with Duroc Market Animals, Lila Jackson exhibiting a market swine weighing 250 pounds, Ruby Osborne with a Duroc weighing 258 pounds, Langston Jordan with a Duroc weighing 275 pounds, and Elizabeth Schmidt exhibiting an animal weighing 294 pounds.
Another nice class, and I think a lot of differences, so maybe that is what requires some sort and challenge, but the young ladies that's going to go ahead and win, I definitely just feel the most comfortable using today. So I think in terms of her body shape, in terms of her build, she still represents a really productive piece of livestock. And then you kind of study her relative to her contemporaries out here, and I still think she balances up the best. And from the side, I just really feel the most comfortable coming and going. That one's busted open, got plenty of rib shape, plenty of power, and then she still utilizes it on a real nice foundation. And lady, you got one that's stout, powerful, opened up. There's no question that's a muscular kind of market hog there. Never question those things about him. For me, he's got to be built better first. And I think he kind of comes with the extras, but needs to do the fundamentals a nickel better, because you kind of study that guy in terms of his build. He gets real rock forward to the angle of his blade and knee. He wants to get off in his hip and kind of coordinated in how he utilizes his rear leg. So I certainly just like to square him up and make him a bit nickel better in those regards. But in terms of muscularity, power, and stoutness, yours has definitely got an advantage in those regards. Young man's going to come next. I think two very different ones here. This hog just hit me as a nickel sounder, deeper, and then still bigger featured. That's why I elected to use his barrow next. Young lady's barrow that's going to round out the class. I think one that's lean, shapely, still comes with plenty of stoutness at the ground. You kind of study that one from the side. He kind of wants to tuck up in terms of his flank, get rounder out of his hip. Maybe just doesn't balance up quite as nicely as a few others in here. But a really nice class. These kiddos are doing a nice job. Let's congratulate them.
Placings in our third and final class of Duroc Market Twine. Fourth place exhibited by Lila Jackson. Third place animal exhibited by Langston Jordan. Second place awarded to Ruby Osborne. And first place winner exhibited by Elizabeth Schmidt. While our judge is evaluating the Duroc for the champion Duroc of the 2024 show, again, I'd like to introduce our cattle judge and swine judge for this year. Katie Kemping is a graduate student at Texas A&M University. Katie is also the assistant livestock judging coach at Texas A&M. She is an animal science major with a minor in nutrition. Katie comes from a family of longtime stock show people. I'm just tickled to death to have her and also have her father here with us today. We appreciate her coming in and evaluating and working with our youngsters.
Well, thank you, and that was an awfully nice introduction. Yep, I brought my dad here with me today, so you're never too old to keep your parents around, and I brought my dad with me today, and so I'm really thrilled. He's what got me into showing pigs and then cattle down the road, and so, you know, kind of set the foundation for me to be as successful as I was, so I appreciate that he could take time out of his busy schedule to come with me and be my chauffeur, as he says. But I thought the Durocs were awfully nice. I thought, yeah, in particular, the two that I'm going to use for champion and reserve, not only do they represent good livestock because they're opened up, they're powerful, they got some skeletal width and dimension, they represent good livestock because they're high quality and they're built good and they have the right kind of fundamentals, but also the extras that I'm kind of after. You know, and I thought it was close between the pair, but I'm going to go congratulate the two that I like the best. Let's give them one more round of applause.
133 pounds. Regan Evans with a ham weighing 146 pounds. Frankie Bowley exhibiting a ham weighing 192 pounds. Hannah Holbrook with a Hampshire weighing 197 pounds, and Latham Miller with a ham weighing 201 pounds.
You know, I think an interesting class. I mean, obviously some variations in terms of weight, probably endpoints, and ultimately kind of where they're going to go down the road. And so with that in mind and just kind of how they're presented today is ultimately what probably made my decision. Young man's bear that's going to win. I mean, unquestionably, when that one comes out of the gate, like, he's so proud apart in terms of his chest floor. That dude's really bold in the upper portions of his rib cage and has fueled a lot of expressive shape up high and leaves you plenty powerful. To fix that one, I'd like to, strengthen him in terms of his spine ever so slightly. Give him a bit more flexibility and probably square him up in terms of how he utilizes his rear leg. But one I deemed acceptable, and then in this particular class is just the most powerful, opened up, and wide skeleton one of the group. Young lady's bear that's going to come in second. I think one that does the fundamentals awfully good. Again, another wide, powerful, and one that's got plenty of shape and dimension. He's probably maybe not the most intriguing looking in terms of how he's hooked up and his neck in terms of his blade. Probably wants to get a bit rounder out of his hip, but one that's really good in terms of his skeleton, in terms of how he utilizes his rear leg, and then one that I think is plenty wide and opened up as well. I think the next three get a bit challenging just based off presentation and kind of how they are today. He's probably maybe not the most intriguing looking in terms of how he's hooked up and how his neck in terms of his blade. Probably wants to get a bit rounder out of his hip, but one that's really good in terms of his skeleton, in terms of how he utilizes his rear leg, and then one that I think is plenty wide and opened up as well. I think the next three get a bit challenging just based off presentation and kind of how they are today. I personally think we really kicked up the quality bar in this particular class. I think there's some awfully good ones, and so we're discussing them. I'll kind of tell you how I saw them and kind of discuss the differences. Young lady's bear that wins, I mean, from the time he kind of stepped in, you could just see how massive he was in terms of his chest width. He's really, really powerful. If you study him up high, he's got a nice, fresh shape on him. He's presented to a real high degree. And then if you actually study him coming and going, I think he reads the most genuine in this particular class. And that's why I elected to use him to win. I mean, tack on the fact that, you know, he's built nice, has a good look from the side, is short-backed and proportional, and I think those are just added bonuses. But really study that guy coming and going, and that's where I like him the best. Young man's bear that's going to go ahead and win. I mean, this guy is dense featured. He is hairy, and I think all those things really help him. I mean, that's a huge back leg that he's got and he's working with. He is short-backed. He's real proportional from the side. I like those things about him. When I just start studying him coming and going, you know, I'd like to give him a shot more, especially through his lower stifle. I think that would help him not only just balance up a nickel better, but make that guy just a bit fresher and more genuine in terms of his shape. He looks like he just studies a nickel earlier maturing relative to the bear that wins. But I think that one's got some really, really nice and really high quality pieces about him. Young ladies, some of the same things could be said about yours. I think that one's build, you know, could probably rival to be one of the best in the class. I think that guy is so long-hipped. He's really good in how he plants and pushes in terms of his rear leg. I think one that's awesome in terms of how his blade's constructed as well. But for me personally, I think whenever he comes in relative to the two that beat him today, I just need to see a nickel more, especially coming right at you. I'd just like to open him up in terms of his chest, just give him a shot more in terms of cheek right behind his blade there. But I think one that's built really, really good from the side. Young ladies, bear that's going to go ahead and be next. I think a really powerful one in terms of back shape, one that's plenty wide, plenty opened up. I think maybe just doesn't have the same type of extras as the ones that are going to go ahead and beat him today. Maybe just not as stout skull, maybe just not as unique looking in terms of his hip and hind leg construction, but one that does the fundamentals awfully, awfully good. Young ladies, gilt that's going to round out the class, another wide, powerful, opened up one that's really, really shapely today. To me, she just needs to be freshened up just a nickel. She's looking just a nickel bit stale out here relative to some of the other ones. And if you study her in terms of her hip and hind leg construction, just like to give her a shot more range of motion and comfort in how she plants them. But I think an awfully good class with a lot of high quality individuals. Good job, young lady.
Thanks again for those reasons on this class. Placings in this class: 5th place is awarded to Friendly Eckert, 4th place exhibited by Avery Burns, 3rd place exhibited by Claire Schmidt, 2nd place exhibited by Kelton Jordan, and class winner exhibited by Bronwyn Underwood. In our final class of Hampshire Hog, we have 3 exhibitors in this class: Ruby Osborne with an animal weighing 238 pounds, Sutton Smith with an animal weighing 261 pounds, and Langston Jordan with a Hampshire Hog weighing 263 pounds.
An interesting class, a lot of differences, and so I'll go ahead and discuss them. But young lady's bear that's going to go ahead and win, one that, in my opinion, just did the best job in terms of stoutness, power, and dimension on still a plenty flexible build. And I'll be the first to admit his hip and hind leg aren't just perfect. And I don't know if there's just a legitimate upgrade in this particular class, but if you just study that one in true skeletal with true power, true shape, that one's bar none the best in those regards. Young man's bear that comes next, that is a late maturing. That is a long spine, still stout featured barrow who, has got an attractive kind of set and carriage to his head. And naturally kind of up-headed kind of hog there. But one that relative to his size, relative to his frame, I just need to see a shot more to him. You got to study that guy coming and going. You sure like to open him up a nickel so he could fuel, more fresh topside shape. But I think one that, is tall fronted, really extended and late maturing. Young lady's bear that comes out next, that is a soft-bodied, one that's really productive in terms of his center skeleton, one that I think's big-hipped and plenty powerful. Just kind of get off to the side of him, and he kind of wants to get rounder off both ends of his skeleton, just like to freshen him up maybe in terms of his jowl. But I think one that does the fundamentals still plenty good. Let's give all three of these individuals a round of applause. They're doing a nice job out here.
Placings in the final class of Hampshire Hogs. Third place is exhibited by Sutton Smith. Second place exhibited by Langston Jordan. Class winner exhibited by Ruby Oliver.
Again, I thought the hamps were real solid all the way through. There's one particular one out here, though, in my opinion, just goes beyond having the fundamentals of skeletal width, muscle and dimension, but it's really got the extras in terms of look, in terms of proportionality, in terms of build, and that's going to be the young lady out of the second class. Thought that was a really deep one, so we'll go ahead and bring out that second for reserve consideration. Good job. Again, we bring out that second and one we talked about in class, huge in terms of his foot size, in terms of his feature, really short-backed and proportional, one that's really out there in a lot of ways, and that one's going to go ahead and be your reserve.
Reserve champion hamp exhibited by Kelton Jordan and the champion hamp deer exhibited by Bronwyn Underwood. Our next group of hogs coming in are the classes of our dark OPBs. First class, we have 3 exhibitors in this class. Reed Yonker with an animal weighing 157 pounds. Wendy Jackson with a dark OPB weighing 165 pounds. And Dakota Martin with a dark OPB weighing 184 pounds. While we're waiting for these animals to come in here, I've been reminded to go over the schedule a little bit. Today, after we complete the Market Swine Show, we'll have the swine showmanship. From 12 to 1, we have our heifer check-in and our stairway in. We begin the cattle show at 3 o'clock. And once the cattle show is completed, then we have our cattle showmanship. Tomorrow, we bring in our sheep, weigh them between 8:30 and 9. The goats arrive at 9. They weigh in between 9 and 9:30, and the sheep show begins at 11 o'clock, with sheep showmanship following the sheep show, and then the goat show after this, and then goat showmanship. Then at the end, we have the fastest torch contest. Friday, we have our food and nutrition interviews beginning at 8 o'clock. The ag mechanic show outside here we're going to begin at 9 a.m. The buyer's reception at 4 p.m. General store at 4 p.m. and the premium sale begins at 6 p.m. And also the annual reminder, you exhibitors, be sure and fill out your sales slip. If you don't fill out your sales slip, you end up selling at the end of the sale.
I think a real nice way to start off your dark OPBs and the young lady's Burke that's going to go ahead and win. I think a really high quality individual, and to max out a Burke like that in terms of just width and dimension and still have that kind of proportional good look from the side stuff to do. That guy drives at you, really opened up in terms of his chest, still plenty bold in terms of his rib cage, but from the side is probably just where I like him the best. I'd like to maybe square him up just a nickel in terms of his front feet. But I think one that's just really, really good in terms of proportionality, in terms of balance, and then still coming with some muscularity and power. Young lady's bear that's going to come next, I think for me does so because of build. You study that guy in terms of his blade angle, in terms of the utilization to his hip and hind leg, I think are really, really good. He's probably not just the most overwhelming today in terms of rib cage or in terms of shape, but I think it'll come with some time. I think one that skeleton is what easily gets him into the second place. Young man's gilt that comes next, wide opened up, big featured. I like those things about her. We got to square her up a nickel from behind. She's just starting to really push out there in terms of her hock. So let's do those things, and I think one that has still a lot of value in terms of carcass incentives. But let's give all these kiddos a round of applause. They're doing a great job.
Thank you, Judge Kemping. Your placings in our first class of dark OPBs. Third place exhibited by Reed Yonker. Second place, Wendy Jackson. And class winner exhibited by Dakota Martin. Our next class of dark OPB, we have 3 exhibitors in this class. Reed Yonker with a dark OPB weighing 186 pounds. Lucy Lindbergh with an animal weighing 187 pounds. And Langston Jordan exhibiting a dark OPB weighing 190 pounds. I've been asked to announce that Laura Broyles will be back over here by our general store area here. And if there's any of you folks that would like to contribute to add-ons especially on some of our non-placing animals, she'll be tickled to death to go ahead and we take cash, monies, or credit cards. No, seriously, just cash or checks.
Interesting class, and I just feel most comfortable starting with the young man's bear over here to my left. One that's wide, opened up, powerful, but particularly, in my opinion, this is the most genuine in terms of that guy's shape up high. Study him in terms of how he plants and pushes in terms of his rear leg. I like it probably the best of any. I just think that's a pretty fundamental, still good-looking kind of hog to go ahead and win. I think the next 2 are interesting. Young ladies that's going to go ahead and be second. One that's really broad-jawed, stout-featured. I like those things about him. Really deep and soft-centered, but you kind of start to study that one in terms of his skull. He's a little earlier maturing just in terms of his type and kind. Just like to give that guy a notch more stretch and grow, maybe just more genuine in how he leaves you. Just give him a shot more power in those regards. Young man spot that's going to go ahead and round out the class. One that I think is a later maturing option, taller in terms of his blade, and I like those things about him. But if you really start to study that guy coming and going, he's got to be opened up a nickel for me. Then we got to give him a bit more reach and relaxation in terms of his blade and how he goes from there. But I think a real nice class. Let's give all 3 of those kiddos a round of applause. They were doing a good job.
Placings in our middleweight OPB class, 3rd place exhibited by Reed Yonker, 2nd place shown by Lucy Lindbergh, and class winner exhibited by Langston Jordan. exhibitors in our final class of dark OPBs. We have 4 animals in this class. Eva Jordan with an animal weighing 200 pounds. Jackson Holbrook exhibiting a dark OPB weighing 208 pounds. Ruby Osborne with a dark OPB weighing 223 pounds. And Olivia Longhenny with an animal weighing 226 pounds.
Real nice class, and I'll be the first to admit my winner's probably just not the most out there in terms of skull or feature or maybe today's trends of the industry. But if you just look at that hog and really study that one in terms of his basic build, in terms of his body shape and muscularity, he's bar none the best in this particular class, and that's why I elected to use him to win. I mean, that guy is really broad in terms of his blade. He's opened up, powerful in terms of his rib cage, which just set a real nice foundation for him to fuel a lot of topside width and power. But the young lady's that's going to be second, definitely has advantages in terms of skull, look, in terms of extension, in terms of foot size, and I really like those things about her. I think she's got a lot of really unique pieces for the breed. But for me in particular today, she just needs to come a nickel bolder and softer in terms of her rib cage. And then although I like the extra shot of flexibility that's built into her hind leg, I think she almost wants to kind of get underneath herself, and so it's just not quite as aesthetically pleasing. But I still think a real nice individual to go ahead and be second. She's doing an awfully good job. Young man's bear that's going to come next, real meat and potatoes kind of hog, wide base. Really still bold in terms of his rib cage. Kind of freshen that guy up just in terms of his composition. You kind of start to study him through his jaw and through his flank. You just kind of want to freshen him up in those regards. And young ladies, that rounds out the class, has definitely got those advantages. That is a lean and still shapely kind of bear to come next. For me, the frailest featured hog's just got to be opened up underneath to fuel enough shape and power today. But I think a nice class with a lot of differences. Let's give them a round of applause.
Placings in our final class of dark OPBs. Fourth place was exhibited by Eva Jordan. Third place, Jackson Holbrook. Second place exhibited by Ruby Osborne. And class winner exhibited by Olivia Longhenny.
Again, I thought a real nice show all the way through in terms of your dark OPBs. You know, a challenging one because, you know, with all the different breed types and they come together, maybe they kind of look like they miss and match a nickel. But I think in particular, there's one out here that caught my eye early, just in terms of proportionality, in terms of quality, and still having the right kind of muscularity and shape. Young lady out of your first class is going to go ahead and be your second, or your champion. No need to bring out the second. We're going to follow her up with the young lady out of the last class.
Reserve champion OPB exhibited by Olivia Longhenny and champion exhibited by Dakota Martin. We only have one class of light OPBs, and in that class we have two exhibitors, Kelton Jordan with an animal weighing 214 pounds, and Judge Jackson with an animal weighing 240 pounds. And the winner of this class will be your champion light OPB, and the second place will be your reserve.
only 2 Chesters for your light OPB champion and reserve. So these are your 2 individuals that will be receiving awards today. And I think very nice, and particularly a young man Skillet that's going to go ahead and win. I think could still use a lot of competition. What I like best about her, I think, is her basic build. She's wide skeleton, still really square coming and going, and I appreciate those things about her. She's got plenty of width and dimension and power for me. You know, maybe not just the neatest scold or jawed thing out there, but I think one that's really proportional, blends right, and balances up still really nice from the side. Young man's bear that's going to be second or reserve in this particular case, one that I think is really tall bladed, really late maturing and long, tall scaled. One that's pretty stout in terms of his foot size. If you study that one in terms of his skull coming right at you, you sure like to stouten him up, just open him up right there to give him a shot, more rib cage and width and just durability in those regards. But one that's heavyweight, powerful, and still plenty late mature, and I appreciate those things about him. Let's give both these individuals a round of applause. They're doing a heck of a job.
Thank you again, Judge Kemping. Placings in this class and champion light and reserve champion. The champion exhibited by Kelton Jordan and the reserve champion by Judge Jackson. Our next class of market swine is our first class of Yorkshire swine. We have five exhibitors in this class. Reese Evans with an animal weighing 156 pounds. Dakota Martin with a Yorkshire weighing 191 pounds. O'Brien Underwood exhibiting a Yorkshire weighing 223 pounds. Olivia Longini also with a Yorkshire weighing 233 pounds. And Avery Burns rounding out the class with a Yorkshire weighing 235 pounds.
You know, again, a lot of variation within this particular class, but the young lady's gilt that's going to go ahead and win does so pretty easily for me. One that I love, blade back, I think that one is so proportional. She's short back, she's powerful, and then because of those things, balances up and proportions up right from the side. One that's big featured, it's got a big set of feet and legs on her, which again helps with all those things. You know, if you kind of study her, you'd like to just fix her and how she hooks up there in terms of her blade, but one that's plenty wide. Plenty good, and in this particular class, I prefer that one set to her hip and hind leg the best. You know, the young lady that's going to be second, I kind of thought about this one a little while, because if you study this one for what he is, and that's that he's really wide, he's really powerful, and he's really stout, and not for what he's not. And obviously, we can all see he probably needs to be squared up going away. That's one that's bar none just the biggest in terms of his blade, how much shape he lays there behind it, and so that's why he excels to the top of this particular class for me. Yeah, sure, I'd like to fix his rear leg, and I think that's where the barrel in third fixes him. That is the one that's squarer coming and going right at you, one that's built really good and still a really productive piece of livestock. But you study that guy from the side, and you know, he's maybe not the most out there in terms of his skull shape, in terms of his jawline. Still would like to make him a notch deeper and softer back into his flank there, but one that I think is really good built, one that I think's got plenty of skeletal width and power. Young lady, obviously you're at a pretty big weight disadvantage here today in fourth. One that I think's got a lot of future to him still, one that's stout featured, one that's tall bladed and extended and still really shapely. Today just forfeits too much in terms of rib shape, power, and dimension. Let's give all those young ladies a round of applause. They did a real nice job.
Placings in our first class of Yorkshire hogs. Fourth place exhibited by Reese Evans. Third place exhibited by Olivia Longhenny. Second place animal exhibited by Avery Burns, and the class winner exhibited by O'Brien Underwood. In our final class of Yorkshire Bear hogs, we have three animals exhibited in this class. We have one scratch, Callan Longhenny with an animal weighing 239 pounds, Eric Satien with a Yorkshire weighing 247 pounds, and Sutton Smith exhibiting a Yorkshire weighing 256 pounds.
think a real nice place to start with this young man's barrow. That one is really unique in terms of his head shape and how he ties it on the top side of his blade. I like those things about him. I mean, from the side, I'm all in on that one's kind of balance and look and proportions. I like all those things about him. You know, maybe in an ideal world, you know, we'd like to make a white hog a bit bigger feature, and you study that one coming and going, just busts him open even more. But I think one in this particular class is just in terms of build, power, and look, that one's the highest quality. You know, on these other two, you know, I'd like to fix them both probably from a skeletal side of things. The young lady's gilt just has so much more to her. You study her up high, one that's really big and shapely in terms of her back, you know, leaving you, that's a really big hip barrow, or a really big hip gilt. But for me, you just study her the top side of her blade and how she hooks up. Like to fix her there, and then in terms of her hip and hind leg, just make her a shot more coordinated. Probably some of the same things could be said about the young man's gilt that concludes the class. One that just needs to come with a bit more flexibility in terms of her rear leg. I think one that is really late mature and one that's still extended ahead of her blade. Big picture though, she just needs to have more to her. You kind of study her coming right at you or going away, just like to bust her open ever so slightly. I think a nice class though, a real good winner. Let's give him a round of applause.
Placings in our final class of Yorkshire Market Animals. Third place exhibited by Eric Savian. Second place animal exhibited by Sutton Smith. And third place and first place animal exhibited by Callan Longhenny.
The Yorks have been real solid all the way through. I don't know if we just saw, you know, a bad piece of livestock. I thought they all had some merit to them. And these two particular class winners are good in their own right and honestly very different in terms of their types and kinds. And I think that's okay. You know, it's just my job to sort them best to worst, and so that's what I do. It doesn't really matter what they look like or if they're different or alike at the end of the day. And I think that these two are very different but have their quality nonetheless. And so I thought, you know, collectively they're both opened up. They're both powerful. You know, this hog right here's hip and hind leg are huge. She's really stout in terms of her feature. You know, one that is really proportional from the side, really deep and soft there into her flank. You know, the young man's barrow we talked about. We love that guy's kind of elevation up front, shape up high. That one's probably got, you know, more natural turn to his rib cage. Just need to maybe stouten him up a nickel and then come in, or especially going away, maybe just give him a notch more width and actual clearance between his hocks. But I think two nice ones, like I said. I'll study him a nickel longer and then I'll congratulate which ones I like the best. Let's give him a round of applause.
Champion York exhibited by Brian Underwood, and reserve champion York exhibited by Callan Longhenny. Wait, excuse me, we've got one more to go.
No, my bad. We bring out that second place out of that particular class, and I talked that one in class. You know, where he's good, he's awfully good. You know, he's wide, he's powerful, he's really stout. Like those things about him. And when we talked about, you know, it's no secret that he just needs to be fixed there in terms of how he plants his rear leg. We certainly just like to square him up in those regards. I think two nice ones, but the young man will be a reserve. Let's give them a round of applause.
Just a little faster than the judge today. Congratulations to Callan Longhenny. into our next group of market swine. We have 5 classes in this group. These are our dark crosses. First class exhibitor Reagan Evans with an animal weighing 129 pounds. Reed Jonker with a dark cross weighing 136 pounds. Reese Evans with a dark cross weighing 145 pounds. And Eric Sapien with a dark cross weighing 153 pounds.
Obviously, these ones are a little further from their end point relative to a couple we'll see here in a minute. But the young ladies, Barrow for me wins pretty handily. That one, just in terms of his basic build, in terms of his look, in terms of his balance, it is bar none the best. If you study that one, just coming laid back in his blade, coming with plenty of flexibility and comfort built into that one's rear leg, and then really start to study him coming and going. He's probably the most genuine in those regards too. So I think a real nice place to start for this particular class. And then to just be up front, I think the remaining 3 could probably be adjusted from a skeletal standpoint. So the next young man's Bear to me is just the most opened up and powerful, and that's why he moves to the second place spot. If you study that guy in terms of his shape up high and from behind, he certainly got the most to him. But, and I know he's kind of holding his tail down and not really showing himself off, but if you study that guy, he needs to be fixed in terms of his hip. He needs to be fixed and laid back in terms of his blade and knee for me to deem him competitive with our winner. Young man that's going to be third, I like that one in terms of being late maturing, one that's plenty big in terms of his foot side, one that's got some extension. That one just gets too straight off either ends of her skeleton. She needs to be laid back in terms of her blade and come with a bit more flexibility in terms of her rear leg. Young man's hog or gilt that's going to round out the class, one that's plenty deep in terms of that one center body, one that's plenty productive in those regards, but that guy really needs to be modified from a maturity standpoint. And then if you study him in terms of how he plants his rear leg, you just like to give him a nickel more flexibility in terms of his posture. But I think interesting class, a real nice winner. Let's give them all a round of applause.
Thank you, Judge Kemping. Placings in our first class dark crosses. 4th place is awarded to Eric Safian. Third place exhibited by Reed Yonker. Second place, Red Ribbon winner exhibited by Regan Evans. And first place class winner exhibited by Reese Evans. We have 3 animals in our next class of dark crosses. Colin Strand exhibiting a dark cross weighing 161 pounds. Jancy Miller with a 162-pound dark cross, and Jackson Limburg with a 163-pound dark cross.
Young man's Calico Gilt that's going to go ahead and win. You know, that one to me just reads the densest in terms of her rib shape. That's one's really powerful in terms of her pin width, in terms of her feature. Today she just kind of overwhelms the class just in terms of width and dimension. You know, maybe a bit earlier maturing than I'd like to see at this stage in the game. You know, comes with a little extra jowl. Maybe doesn't have the same type of grow as a couple others in here. But today that one's certainly just the most opened up and the most powerful. Young man's Gilt that's going to go ahead and be second. One that I think it gets in this particular place because, in my opinion, she's probably the best built in this particular class. If you study her in terms of the set and utilization to her rear leg, she certainly plants and pushes just the squarest and most honest. And then if you study her back into her blade there, I still think she's laid back and comfortable in those regards. For me, she just needs to be, a shot deeper and softer in terms of her rib cage, just come a bit more honest in terms of that one's kind of skeletal with, but I think in terms of build, she's plenty good in those regards. Young lady's bear that's going to come out next, you know, one that doesn't maybe want to present himself the best out here, one that reads really big and shapely up high and big in terms of his pin set. You know, that guy's got to be picked up in terms of his pasture, just got to be redesigned in terms of his hip and hind leg, probably just only exemplified by the surface out here, but young lady's doing a nice job sticking with him. Let's give him a round of applause.
Exhibitors placing in our second class of dark crosses. Third place exhibited by Jancy Miller. Second place exhibited by Colin Strand. Class winner exhibited by Jackson Limburg. We have 4 animals in our next class. Langston Jordan with a dark cross weighing 187 pounds. Stoney Mitchell with a dark cross weighing 190 pounds. Cooper Mitchell exhibiting an animal weighing 195 pounds. And Kelton Jordan with a dark cross weighing 205 pounds. Two reminders while we're getting this class in. You exhibitors need to make sure that you come up here on this table in front of the announcer's booth and pick up a yellow sales slip. Turn in your sales slip so they can have it ready for the sale tomorrow, Friday. And also the concession stand is open and they still got plenty of food over there for you to partake of.
Check, check, check. Can you hear me? Welcome to Mesa County Livestock Show. Okay, we'll see if the video... Look, hey Rachel, pull the video up for this camera and watch my mouth. Hello, how are we doing? It's different. How much different? I say we don't worry about it 'cause it's on the stream. It's not worth trying to get a sound system plugged into that camera.
A real nice place to start in this particular class. Young man's belted barrel, one that's wide skeleton, stout skulled, really big featured, still really short backed and proportional from the side. In this particular class, he's just the best balanced, he's the heaviest muscle, and he's the most opened up, so that's why he's going to go ahead and win. I think this middle pair is awfully close, and I think, maybe with kind of how we're showing them out here and getting them stuck, maybe could be switched. The young man that's going to go ahead and be second, I like that guy in terms of his skull, in terms of his shape, and then when he leaves you, I know he needs to be opened up, but at least he's square in terms of his hock placement, and I like those things about him relative to the young man that's going to go ahead and be third. But like I said, it's close because the young man that's third's got a real big-legged, real opened up, real powerful kind of barrow to go ahead and be there. You just study that guy in terms of his rear leg. I really need to square him up, get him inside himself. And then if you kind of study him in terms of his skull shape and head carriage, maybe not as unique as the young man that's going to go ahead and be second, but I think an awfully close pair, two nice hogs there. Young man, not to take anything away from your barrow, that one's awfully intriguing in some pieces. He's really big, shapely up high, real big in terms of his pin set. He probably just takes everything a nickel to an extreme for me. It's starting to compromise his build. You study that one, he needs to be laid back in terms of his blade. He needs to go with more range of motion, more comfort in terms of his rear leg. I think a good class, though. Let's give all these young men a round of applause.
Placings in our third class crosses. Fourth place is awarded to Langston Jordan. Third place exhibited by Cooper Mitchell. Second place, red ribbon winner, exhibited by Tony Mitchell. And the first place class winner is by Kelton Jordan. In our third class of dark crosses have four animals in this class. There's our Brian Underwood, the dark cross weighing 209 pounds. Dakota Martin, with the dark cross also weighing 209 pounds. Eva Jordan, with the dark cross weighing 222 pounds. And Harper Holbrook, the dark cross weighing 225 pounds.
think an awfully nice one to go ahead and win. And he's not maybe just the widest or just most shaped up today that we've seen, but they got plenty of time to still max him out there at the end. And that one's got the right kind of build and proportions that it takes to be good. You know, you study that one in terms of his skull, in terms of how he ties it out of the top side of his blade, but still laid back to the angle of it. He comes with so much flexibility in terms of how he plants and pushes his rear leg, but yet it's still attractive from the side. That one, like I said, has just got the right kind of look, in my opinion, that it takes to play there and down the road. Young lady's gilt, though, I think is wide, stout, opened up, and powerful. I never questioned those things about her. One that I love in terms of foot size and feature. You know, you kind of ran into an awfully good one here in this particular class, and you start just getting picky on some nice ones, and I like to see that one set down just a notch more comfortable in terms of her rear leg, give her a notch more toe spread to make those things happen, but one that I just love in terms of power, in terms of feature, in terms of dimension. Young lady's doing a great job here in third. You know, she's got one that's big backed, really big in terms of that guy's pin set, one that I like in terms of refreshness and kind of how that one's presented out here. But for me, that one kind of wants to almost kind of run downhill. If you study him just in terms of how he ties his neck, in terms of his skull, maybe just not as unique. Could probably shorten him up in terms of his back ever so slightly. Young lady that kind of rounds out the class, that loud marked one, one that's plenty long bodied, one that's plenty shapely up high, big in terms of her pin set still, one that underneath though needs to be opened up in terms of skeletal width, maybe freshen her up in terms of her jaw ever so slightly. A really competitive class though. Let's give all those gals a round of applause.
Exhibitors placing in our fourth class door crosses, places awarded to Holbrook. Third place exhibited by Eva Jordan. Second place exhibited by Brian Underwood. Class winner exhibited by Dakota Martin. Our final class coming in the ring momentarily with our last class of crosses. We have five animals entered in this class. Ex-Afian, weighing 234 pounds. Brian Underwood, weighing 245 pounds. Elizabeth Smith, exhibiting a dark cross weighing 246 pounds. Sutton Smith, for the class with a dark cross weighing 250 pounds, and Claire Schmidt with a dark cross also weighing 250 pounds.
nice class, and this young lady's skill that I'm going to let to use to win today is so stout featured, stout in terms of her skull opened up, and I think just really has set the foundation, or maybe just a precursor for that kind of width and dimension she's got from there back. One that is so bold-bladed and still really stout in terms of her pin set, and I think she handles it on still a really nice square build and still reads proportional from the side. Young lady's a black gilt that's gonna, or black bear that's gonna go ahead and be second. One that I like in terms of that one's elevation. She does a great job of getting that one presented out here, and he kind of runs uphill and gives you a really good look from the side. I think if you just get comparative between the two, you just like to stouten him up in terms of his skull, maybe just give him a shot more coming and going. But man, from the side, that one I like is as good as any in this particular class. Young lady that's going to come in your third hole here, one that is so productive in terms of his body shape, in terms of his basic build, one that really reads honest and square coming and going, and I like those things about him. Maybe it's not as unique in terms of that one's jaw, maybe just not as stout or coming and going, especially in terms of skeletal width as the two that come before him, but one that I think is really hard to kind of pick a hole in terms of being a productive type of market hog. Young lady's gilt that's going to go ahead and come next, one that's huge in terms of her blade, one that's really shapely up high, really big in terms of her pin set. I think maybe today she just kind of wants to get lower and fronted, kind of frail her at the surface, just like to stouten her up in those regards. Young man that's going to go ahead and conclude the class, one that reads big in terms of his pin set, one that reads pretty honest and lean in terms of that one's condition, just kind of gets rounder off both ends of his skeleton, maybe just isn't wanting to cooperate the best out here today. Let's give all these kiddos a round of applause. They're doing a heck of a job.
Thank you, Judge. Placings in this class. Fifth place exhibited by Safian. Fourth place exhibited by Smith. Third place animal exhibited by Elizabeth Schmidt. And second place by Claire Schmidt. Class winner exhibited by Brian Underwood. Exhibitors now showing for champion of Dark Cross market animals.
Man, the dark crosses have unquestionably been, the best particular breed today. All the way through, there's been a whole lot of quality, and so it's fun to sort through really nice ones. And I know they all kind of have different endpoints. They probably aren't all going to the same show. Maybe for some of them, they got bigger and better things ahead of them, and I understand that, and understand kind of how they're presented out here today, and that's what makes it fun and challenging at the same time. To think of the type of future that some of these may have, and so kudos to all these kiddos and how they've done so far. I thought quality all the way through from the first to the last class, and I'll go show you which two I like the best. Let's give them a round of applause.
And in your dark crosses, your champion is awarded to Dakota Martin, reserve champion exhibited by Kelton Jordan. Our last group of market hogs to come in the ring today are our light crosses and our first class of light crosses. Tony Mitchell, exhibiting an animal weighing 167 pounds. Jackson Lindbergh, with a light cross weighing 185 pounds. Elizabeth Schmidt, with a 209-pound light cross. Robin Underwood with a 213-pound light cross. And Eva Jordan exhibiting a light cross weighing 216 pounds. While we're getting ready to show our last market hogs, I would like to let you know of some of the people that have really supported the show this year. And our buckle and award division for market swine, our grand champion market buckle is donated by Hill Country Veterinary Hospital. Doctors Dave and Andy Rosberg. The grand champion market swine banner is donated by Longhorn Storage, Colin and David Evans, and Jim Roy Atchison. The reserve grand champion market swine buckle donated by Jody and Sandy Osborne. And the reserve grand champion market swine banner donated by Ryan and Kayla Jordan. We certainly appreciate these folks for what they do for our livestock show.
It's turn green.
Reminder to you exhibitors, after we have finished the market hog show, we will have our showmanship for our market swine. So if you are going to participate in the showmanship, be sure to have your animal ready to come to the ring. When we start our showmanship, we will start with our junior exhibitors first, and we'll the intermediates, and then the seniors.
I certainly think a class that has some trade-offs, but one thing I'm definitely confident in is that the young lady's barrel just needs to win, in my opinion, because in this particular class, I think not only is he opened up powerful, big scaled in terms of his maturity pattern, but he also proportions up bar none the best from the side. He's short backed, he's up-headed, he's still pretty long-hipped, and utilizes his rear leg good, and so those things just, to me, make him the highest quality in this particular set. I think the rest of them, definitely have their differences and can be argued to be sorted a couple different ways. I feel most comfortable using this young lady's bear right here for second, because I think that one, just in terms of his skull, in terms of his skeletal width and feature, all read right to me. You certainly like to shorten him up in terms of his back and make him proportion up and nipple better from the side, but I just like that one in terms of how he reads so genuine at the surface. And I think the next two, some of the same things could be said about young man's kind of calico one that comes in next. I think is really stout in terms of his skull, really big in terms of his shape up high, and still really proportional. To me, I don't know how big that one necessarily gets, which I know that they're pretty decent weight now. But big picture though, I'd like to just lengthen him up in terms of his hip and give him a shot where power going directly away from you. I think some of the same things could be said about the next young lady's barrel, one that I think is deep, soft-bodied, and still really big and shapely up high. I think it's from behind. I'd like to just stouten that one up at the surface, give him a shot more pin width and lower stifle shape. Young man's a hog that kind of rounds out the class, a really big, kind of shapely gilt who's powerful in her own right. Just think you study that one in terms of being practical-wise, and kind of want to lay her back in terms of her angles, give her a shot more lower rib and flank for me. But I think a really nice group of hogs. Let's give them a round of applause.
Placings in our first class of lightweight crosses. Fifth place exhibited by Tony Mitchell. Fourth place exhibited by Elizabeth Smith. Third place animal exhibited by Jackson Limburg. Second place Red Ribbon winner exhibited by Jordan. Class winner exhibited by Bronwyn Underwood. Anything else? And our next class coming in, our final class of market wine for the day. We have four animals in this class of light crosses. Jackson Holbrook, with a light cross weighing 225 pounds. Claire Schmidt, with an animal weighing 233 pounds. Kilton Jordan with a light cross weighing 261 pounds. And Brahman Underwood with a light cross also weighing 261 pounds.
I think a really nice way to go ahead and conclude your show, and I do think there's some trade-offs within the top pair. But for me, the young lady's gilt and elects to win has just come so much stouter in terms of her skull shape, bigger right there at the surface in terms of her foot size and density. You study her in terms of how she utilizes her hip and hind leg, and I think it not only reads just more attractive, but also just a nickel more useful. And then you just get off of both of them, and you love just how opened up, powerful, and dimensional they read. I do give the advantage to the young man's barrow in terms of actual chest width. I think that one drives out you real opened up and leaves you a big pinned and powerful. I think just get off to the side of that one. I like that one's kind of elevation up front. Just want to stouten him up in terms of his jaw ever so slightly. Give him a shot more through his lower stifle as well. I think a real nice place to go ahead and be second. Not to take anything away from the young lady's barrow that's going to be third. I think a really soft-bodied, productive, centered one that really good in terms of that one's basic build. I just think maybe a bit basic in terms of that one's skull shape as well, and also needs to have a shot more just going away from me. Young man's gilt that's going to conclude the class one I think is really lean, really shapely. Just study that one in terms of her body type and just doesn't read as productive as the three that beat them today. But I think a real nice gilt in terms of just shape, raw shape and power. Let's give them all a big round of applause.
Placings in our last class of light crosses. Fourth place exhibited by Jackson Holbrook. Third place exhibited by Claire Schmidt. Kelton Jordan exhibited the second place animal, and Bronwyn Underwood exhibited the class winner.
The light crosses, maybe weren't as abundant of numbers as some of the other breeds today, but I think there was certainly quality all the way through, and I think really good representations for the breed can be found in all four of these hogs. And so, I'm not going to go and talk them again, but I'll just go out and select which ones I like the best. Let's give them a round of applause.
In our light crosses, your champion goes to Bronwyn Underwood, and Bronwyn also owned the reserve champion cross. We'll now get them ready to bring them back in. We'll have our champions of each of our divisions coming back in to show for grand and reserve grand of the 2022 Junior Livestock Show. I've just been reminded it's 2024. Well, these years are getting away from me. As our exhibitors are getting ready to bring them into the ring, our champion Duroc was exhibited by Callan Longhenny. Callan also exhibited the reserve champion Duroc. In our Hampshires, our champion was exhibited by Bronwyn Underwood, and the reserve champion was exhibited by Kelton Jordan. Dark cross exhibitors, the champion champion OPB was exhibited by Dakota Martin, and reserve champion was exhibited by Olivia Longhenny. In your light OPBs, your champion was exhibited by Kelton Jordan, and the reserve by Judge Jackson. In our Yorkshire division, the champion was exhibited by O'Brien Underwood, and reserve by Callan Longhenny. In our dark crosses, Dakota Martin exhibited the champion dark cross, with Kelton Jordan exhibiting the reserve dark cross. And in our light crosses, O'Brien Underwood exhibited both the champion and reserve champion light cross. Well, these youngsters are bringing their animals into the ring. Again, I've got a reminder from the concession stand. They're open for business over there, getting ready for lunch. We'd like to give a big thank you to Backwoods Barbecue out of Fredericksburg for donating the chopped brisket. And thank you to Capital Foreign Credit for contributing the water and the cups. these individuals are bringing their animals into the ring for the final judging. Again, I'd like to introduce our market swine judge, and will be our cattle judge for this year, is Katie Kemping. Katie is a graduate student at Texas A&M University. She is also the assistant livestock judging team coach, majoring in animal science and minoring in nutrition. If you've enjoyed the way Katie's worked with these animals, our youngsters, let's give her a big hand. Thank you, Katie.
Well, I think the show has been really, really good all the way through. And, you know, I don't think they look alike when you got them out here, but my job wasn't to be a cookie cutter and find all the ones that look identical. My job was just to sort them best to worst. And I feel like these are a great representation of each of their particular breeds and a great representation for your show. So I think you should be awfully proud of that. So let's give all these kiddos a round of applause. They certainly deserve it. You know, I don't have a real long speech. I do like to talk, but I'll keep it real short. Our country is obviously divided more than ever, and so regardless of what your political beliefs are, you can probably agree with that. And so I think it's our responsibility, you know, an industry that I'm really passionate about. It's our responsibility to not only keep our head down and work hard, but to also highlight our industry to others who don't know about it. And so that's what I encourage all of you to do, and you're all doing a great job of it today. You know, I'm sure you invited your community. You obviously have a great turnout for your show, and so, you know, commend everyone who's a part of putting on the show, who's played a small hand in it. all of those donors that donated towards it, the kids that participated in ag teachers. I could go on and on, you know, about the people who probably made this event happen today. And so thank you, because it's events like this that keep our industry alive and relevant. So I appreciate those things. You know, as for the stock, I thought they were really, really good. There's a couple particular ones I'm pretty high on. And like I said, I know this might not be their end show. It might be their end show, but regardless, I think they're awfully, awfully good. And so I'm not going to re-talk them all. You heard me all day talk about them. So I'm just going to go show you which two I like the best. Let's give them one more round of applause as I do that.
Your grand champion market swine of the 2024 Livestock Show exhibited by Dakota Martin. A judge will now pick the reserve grand champion. The reserve grand champion is the 2024 show exhibited by Rowan Underwood. Exhibitors getting ready for the showmanship and the market swine. We'll have 3 groups. We start with our juniors first, K through 3rd grade, intermediate, 4th grade through 8th, and then seniors, 9th grade through 12th.
Can I have more printed? I put those in order. Junior, senior, they're written.
Kind of move along here. Before we get started, I'd like to introduce our showmanship judge this year. This individual will be judging all of the classes of livestock in our showmanship. Jenna Siegel Mateer is originally from Marion, Ohio. She was raised on the Navy South show pig operation. and she and her family were nationally competitive through their operation. Iowa Grand Farms. Siegel attended Lincoln Land Community College and Iowa State University, where she was on both livestock judging teams, including a national champion in swine and swine reasons at the 2021 National Collegiate Contest in Louisville. Jenna now resides in Mansfield, Illinois, and works at Compeer Financial as a swine credit officer. She and her husband Chance run seed stock Hereford cattle and plan to then build a sow herd in the near future. Jenna, will you raise your hand up and let everybody see you? Welcome her to our Mason County Junior Livestock Show.
One more? You're all right.
while we're working, our judges working with our showmanship, I'd like to recognize all of our showmanship awards for our livestock show this year for the livestock. That includes your market swine, sheep, goats, and cattle, were donated by Stock Show Secrets, Steve McCowan. Let's give Steve a hand, and we appreciate his helping these youngsters with these awards.
Well, good morning. Certainly looking forward to working through your youth here today and tomorrow, and the opportunity to work with you guys, talk about the different things I see in showmanship and how you guys can keep getting better. I know these pigs are worn out. I know you've already shown, so I want to do my best to be efficient with your guys' time, but still make sure that we talk through the things that we need to talk through. Give every kid the opportunity to give their best foot forward. I know maybe we're only awarding one today, but in my mind, showmanship is about getting better, working hard with your project, getting better every time you're able to exhibit. So really want to take the time to place everybody here, talk through the things that I see and where we can get better. There's 9 in this first group. Again, went ahead and placed 9, 8, 7, and 6, and there, go ahead and sit in the pens. Talk through those things I saw with them, working hard with your partner to get good speed, keep that eye contact going, and keeping those hogs between us. Again, know they're worn out, so it's a little tougher at this point in the day, but everybody's still doing an awesome job. These are the top 5 that are out here in front of me, and man, I think all of them are just doing an excellent, excellent job. I know when I was first starting out in 4-H, I had a cane. And I know some of you don't even know what that is, but the older folks in the room are like, yep, I did that too, that was me. So awesome job to all of you guys. You're so far ahead of the curve. Give all 5 of these kids a big, big round of applause. I absolutely love their effort. Again, know their partners are maybe a little worn out, so really appreciate them giving it their all. We're going to go ahead and talk about all 5 of these young people. Try to start at the bottom. We'll start with 5th place, and then we'll work our way up to that 1st place showman and maybe what I see and what we could do better. There's one individual out here that's so calm, cool, and collected. Love their composure. I'm a very intense, passionate person, so when I would show, I didn't always have the best composure. Love this young person's composure. The eye contact is really, really good. Staying cool, calm, and collected, even though their partner's maybe not working the absolute best for them today. Maybe to be better, we got to keep that pig in the middle of the ring a little bit more. Maybe we could be a nickel more intense, but love the composure of this young person. Got to be 5th. The young man right here in front of me, he's going to be 5th. Awesome job to him. Congratulations, buddy. 4th place is another one that's actually pretty different from the one that we put in 5th. Super, super intense. Came out ready to rock and roll. She is so, so dead on with her eye contact, with that intensity. Absolutely love the effort she's given. That pig's a little quick on her. Maybe isn't super smooth. Maybe isn't quite as effortless as some other showmen out here. Partner's quitting a little bit, but man, that intensity's awesome. Eye contact is awesome. Again, maybe the partner's not working the best for her. Young lady here to my right with the ponytail is going to be 4th. Great job to her. Congratulations. The top 3 young ladies out here, man, they do such a great job getting the most out of their project, working really hard to get that pig stuck. That's what the best showmen do. The best showmen get the most out of their animal and make them look the part each and every time they get out here. The young person that's going to be third, absolutely love the way they get that hog driven. Think they're doing a great job, giving me every viewpoint, giving me every angle. Maybe where a little stop and go could get a little more consistent speed, could see that gilt moving just a little smoother, a little more effortless. Again, I know maybe she's worn out, but speed's not quite as good as it was when we first came in. Also wish we were a little bit more intense. I know it's hard when your partner isn't maybe working perfectly to always keep your eye on the judge as the gilt's wearing out. She's maybe not quite as intense as she was when she first came in, but man, does a great job, not quitting. Think she does an awesome job. Young lady with the bow here is going to be third. Congratulations to her. The top 2 out here, man, you guys do such a good job. I know I joke that I started out with a cane, but it's really true. And I know when I was y'all's age, I was not showing at the level you are. Again, know your partners are quitting. Maybe they're getting a little tired, but that doesn't take away from your efforts, your talent, and your skills. So really appreciate that. Both the young ladies that are in the top 2 are so intense. Awesome eye contact. Drive those gilts with their heads up. Are doing a great job giving me different viewpoints, showing me that gilt from every angle. This is a personal preference, which I know is a little controversial. When we get into the stage of the game where showmanship is really top priority, I love brushes in the pocket, because in my mind, the best showmen are effortless. They don't need a bunch of tools to get a hog stuck. All they need is their whip and their body. Again, that's just me personally. Absolutely takes nothing away from these 2 young ladies. They're both awesome. One's a little more intense, really does a great job getting down in the dirt, giving me those chest shots, rear shots, 3/4, all of the above. Does a killer good job. The other one's a little more composed. Love how calm, cool, and collected they are. Love the way they both work with their projects. The one that's a little more intense is going to win today. Does an awesome job. Young lady to my right is going to be your champion. Awesome job to her. Young lady that's second here, she does an awesome job. Again, love that composure, love how calm, cool, and collected she is. Does a great job working with her partner, does an awesome job working as a team with that gilt. Again, maybe not quite as intense as my preference, but still does an awesome job. Congratulations to all of those junior kiddos. Give all of them a big round of applause.
Great job, youngsters. 5th place goes to Stoney Mitchell. 4th place, Harper Holbrook. 3rd place in showmanship, Sutton Smith. 2nd place to Brindley Eckert. 1st place winner, Elizabeth Schmidt. Congratulations.
You are never there.
again, know these hogs are worn out and certainly don't want to wear them out anymore when maybe this isn't their final destination. But awesome job to this group of 5 young ladies out here. Love everybody's determination, love everybody's effort they're giving. Certainly appreciate the good attitudes as well. So give all 5 of them a big round of applause. Doing an absolutely awesome job. Went ahead and talked to 4th and 5th place, let them know the little things that maybe made a difference today and what I saw. Maybe not a perfect partner, maybe having some small nitpicky things going on, but absolutely love that you guys have such good technical skill. You keep those hogs moving, you know where to hit them in the right spot. You're giving me eye contact. Those small things that are very elementary definitely matter at this stage of the game, and appreciate everybody's technical skill and everybody's talent. These 3 rise to the top for me. They're the ones that are getting the most out of the hogs, that are giving me different viewpoints, giving me really good eye contact, incredibly intense, and certainly trying to get that hog shown to the best of their ability. The young lady that's going to be in 3rd place today came out and gave me just a great first impression. Really intense, great eye contact, gave me a great couple of viewpoints. Maybe her partner's a little stop and go, isn't quite as smooth, maybe isn't as effortless as some of the others, but certainly does an awesome, awesome job. A young lady right here in the middle is going to be 3rd. Congratulations to her. She does a really great job. The young ladies that are 2nd and 1st respectively, man, you guys do such a good job getting the most out of those hogs. You're getting them driven well, you're getting them presented really, really well, giving me different viewpoints, and that's what the best showmen do. So certainly appreciate all the effort you guys put in at home to get to this point. You guys are just so smooth. I absolutely love that you're making big, wide turns. You're not cutting those barrows off. You're giving them room to turn, giving them room to use the entire ring to your advantage, and giving me all the viewpoints. Again, know they're worn out, know they're tired, so certainly don't want to continue to drive them into the ground. The young person that's going to win today just is so effortless, so smooth, does a really great job getting the most out of that barrow, has given me every single viewpoint, stays out of the way of her competitors, but is still aggressive and getting what she wants. Does an absolutely awesome job. Young lady in the pink's going to win this division. Congratulations to her. Young lady that's 2nd in the blue, awesome job. I know your bear is quitting on you. You do such a great job of getting all those viewpoints in with him. So intense. I know he's quitting on you, maybe isn't being the best partner today, but man, you do an awesome job, young lady. Don't hang your head. Congratulations to these 5 individuals. Give them all a big round of applause.
Exhibitors in our intermediate showmanship, 5th place is awarded to Lily Jackson. 4th place, Haley Holbrook. 3rd place, Ruby Osborne. 2nd place, Claire Schmidt. And intermediate showmanship winner, Olivia Longani.
Hi, I'm Michael Zavala, here with Backwoods Barbecue. Born and raised over in Mason, Texas, but we've moved over here to start this business. We had our kids participate in stock show. They started off with pigs, went into steers. The show in Mason as a whole, I think, is wonderful. It's a great experience for the kids. Teaches them a lot of basic skills, in my opinion, of learning to take care of things and, feed, water every day. It's twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day, whatever's required. But, I feel like it puts something that's missing in a lot of our kids nowadays, a responsibility that they're, something that to be responsible for, and it teaches them something as they become adults of caring for things. We love supporting because the Mason County Stock Show was wonderful to our kids. And so our way of giving back is we donate, either a meal or whatever. We try to help in any way we can because I think it's a great thing for kids to be a part of growing up. And, it helps them out educationally wise. We hope that they can at least get something out that they can move forward with.
Exhibitors, I've been reminded that if you did not get your picture taken yesterday, you need to come over here by the Mason County Show and Expo booth and have your picture taken for the show and sale. If you haven't had your picture taken yet, be sure you get that taken care of today. Also, make sure you come in and fill out a sales slip. And then any of you buyers, if you've not been able to donate yet, we still have a setup over here by the general store. If you wish to donate, especially on non-blazing animals, they're taking your money over here by the general store today.
Excellent group of seniors out here. Awesome job by all 7 of them. Give them a big round of applause. They're doing an awesome job. I know these hogs are worn out and tired. Certainly, again, don't want to take any more time than we have to, but certainly do an awesome job and appreciate their hard work and their effort. Went ahead and talked to that 5th, 6th, and 7th place kiddos. Let them know the things I'm seeing, maybe what made a difference today, and just maybe where they could improve, but they all do an awesome job as well. The 4 that are out here are honestly all very, very, very different. You've all got hogs that have different attitudes and different speeds. You've all got different composures, different postures, but you all still do a lot of really good things. Love everybody's eye contact, love everybody's posture. Nobody's way down in the dirt, nobody's too relaxed and uncomfortable in that regard. Everybody just looks really, really natural, which is, again, what the best showmen do. They're natural, they're effortless, and they get the hogs stuck. Awesome job to all 4 of you guys. Let's talk through some of the differences and maybe where things get a little tougher on you, or a little maybe what was better for you. There's one young person that had an absolutely awesome first impression. It was so intense. Gave me a couple different viewpoints within that first 30 seconds and then got the heck out of the way. I absolutely loved that. Did a great job this whole time maintaining that intensity and keeping that hog going for the most part. Maybe we're starting to slow down, get a little stop and go. And as there's less individuals in the ring, I'm seeing you less and less. Try to be more aggressive as the ring gets more open. As there's only 4 of you, I want you to be more aggressive. I want you to get that viewpoint just a little bit quicker. Maybe we're not quite as aggressive. Maybe that hog isn't quite as consistent in speed, but man, the intensity is awesome. Does an absolutely great job getting the most out of that hog. Going to be 4th today, young man in the blue. He does a great job. Give him a big round of applause. Love, love, love that intensity. The 3 that are out here again are so different, and the 3rd place individual is actually pretty opposite of that guy. She's so laid back, so composed, with an absolutely awesome attitude, awesome composure, and I personally love that. Again, maybe at this point I wish she was a little more aggressive, wish maybe we were a little bit more intense, but love the posture of this young person, absolutely love the different viewpoints they're giving me. Maybe not as intense as my personal preference, but does an awesome job. That lady here to my left is going to be 3rd. Congratulations to her. And then there were 2, and I think you guys are actually the most similar of the top 4. Intense, really getting those viewpoints as much as you can, doing an awesome job working with your partner. I know the young man's bear is quitting on him, but I don't think that's because of his lack of effort or lack of talent. I think both of you guys are just so intense, giving me every viewpoint I need. Had awesome first impressions of the pair. There's one that's smoother, there's one that's taking bigger turns, is more effortless, and is the only one in here that hasn't crossed over in front of me one time. Does a killer good job. Young lady with the Duroc's going to win this division. Congratulations to her. A young man that's going to be 2nd. Again, love that intensity. Think you're doing a great job getting the most out of that hog, even though he's quitting on you. That's not why you're 2nd. Today you're 2nd because I don't think you're quite smooth enough. Make bigger turns. Don't pivot that barrel and use a little bit more of the ring to your advantage. I know it's tough when your partner's quitting, but you do a great job as well. Congratulations to those seniors. Give all of those kids one more big round of applause.
Thank you, Judge Mathieu. The placings in your senior showmanship, the place goes to Eric Safien, 4th, Jackson Lindbergh, 3rd, Anna Holbrook, 2nd, Frankie Boley, and 4th place winner in the senior division, Bronwyn Underwood. We'll now bring your winners back in your junior, intermediate, and senior to show for a champion flying showmanship at the 2024 show. Exhibitors showing for champion swine showmanship in our junior exhibitors, Elizabeth Smith, intermediate, Olivia Longhenny, and senior, Bronwyn Underwood. Again, a quick thank you while our judge is completing the judging for the champion showmanship swine division. We want to thank Steve McCollum of Stock Show Secrets for making the donations of the awards for the showmanship in our livestock division. And also we want to thank our judge today, Jenna Siegel-Mateer, for coming here and evaluating and working with our youngsters. Thank you again, Jenna.
Well, all three of these young ladies do an absolutely awesome job, and I know there's not many of you left in here, but give them a big, big round of applause. I think all three of them are just absolutely phenomenal. If you've got a young person that wants to be better regardless of age, I think any three of these young ladies would be absolutely awesome resources to learn from, ask questions, and to see what they can do to improve. Again, I know hogs are worn out. I know they're tired. I promise this isn't an endurance race, but man, you guys just do such a great job. I want to make sure we get this right, and that I'm able to see who rises to the top and who is the one that in my mind just does the best job. Again, all three of you young ladies just have such awesome posture, such awesome attitude, awesome style, and honestly, that's what makes showmanship so fun, is that all of you are different, yet so similar. Love everybody's eye contact and intensity, your guys' drive out here. All of you are working hard to get the most out of that hog. The one that rises to the top for me is just so smooth. Absolutely love watching her go. She is so good at using the full ring, giving me every viewpoint, making big long turns, working with her partner, not against her partner, even though maybe they're starting to slow down. I know this isn't about endurance, so please don't think either one of the two young ladies that are getting left out there that that's the problem. But she just is so smooth, so effortless, has an awesome style. I think does an incredible job. Young lady out of intermediate's going to win. Congratulations to her.
And your champion swine showmanship for the 2024 show, Olivia Longhead. Around here, we will start back with the cattle show at 3 o'clock.
Hi, we're Kenny and Shirley from McLean Ford. We have been supporting kids in the community for over 30 years now. We've been blessed to be able to do that. We had children that were involved in different aspects as they grew up, and so we have truly made it a point that the funds that we're able to support with go to the kids.
Most all of our donations that we do are all towards youth. A few other aspects of youth, not just stock shows, but mainly that. We think that that area teaches kids a lot of good work ethic. They learn right from wrong, what works, what doesn't work, and so when they grow up, maybe they will take part of that with them. And we think that's very important. And if our funds can go a little ways to help ease the cost of some of that, then so be it. And that's a wonderful thing because, kids are everything to us. So we just think that's the best way to put it.
I was raised in Cincinnati and had a lot of friends from Mason growing up, that being neighboring towns, and still a lot of friends that are grown up and their children now are showing, and their children now are involved in several aspects. And so it's just, we just love Mason County. There's just something about the people that reminds us of home, and so it's become one of our points that we really try to support.
The people at Mason really make it easy to do our best that we can take care of those over there, because they come through, they're nice people, they're just so welcoming, they're warm, they're like us. They're like us. We want, you want to be with people that you know and trust and like, and that's those people. So we really love it over in Mason County.
And since we bought the store a little over 5 years ago, they've been very supportive of us.
They have.
We're Kenny and Shirley from McLean Ford. We have been supporting kids in the community for over 30 years now. We've been blessed to be able to do that. We had children that were involved in different aspects as they grew up, and so we have truly made it a point that the funds that we're able to support with go to the kids.
Most all of our donations that we do are all towards youth. A few other aspects of youth, not just stock shows, but mainly that. We think that that area teaches kids a lot of good work ethic. They learn right from wrong, what works, what doesn't work, and so when they grow up, maybe they will take part of that with them. And we think that's very important. And if our funds can go a little ways to help ease the cost of some of that, then so be it. And that's a wonderful thing because, kids are everything to us. So we just think that's the best way to put it.
I was raised in Cincinnati and had a lot of friends from Mason growing up, that being neighboring towns, and still a lot of friends that are grown up and their children now are showing, and their children now are involved in several aspects. And so it's just, we just love Mason County. There's just something about the people that reminds us of home, and so it's become one of our points that we really try to support.
The people at Mason really make it easy to do our best that we can take care of those over there, because they come through, they're nice people, they're just so welcoming, they're warm, they're like us. They're like us. We want, you want to be with people that you know and trust and like, and that's those people. So we really love it over in Mason County.
And since we bought the store a little over 5 years ago, they've been very supportive of us.
They have.